Hello, my wonderful students. I hope you are being great for our guest teacher today. I'm sorry I am not there. I am at a PBIS training. Today we are learning about the digestive system. It's me giving you information that will be on the test and talking you through some things and explaining them in my own words and giving you some memory tricks. Just a reminder on the board that yesterday I did give you digestive system definition. So we'll talk about that throughout this, about what you could do for your visual. That is the last vocab word of this unit. Yay! And I will make a turn-in for you here coming up. The first thing I want to go over is just some upcoming dates so that some of you can plan. This is my calendar, so bear with me. But this is today. So you're doing digestive system PowerPoint. It is your expectation to get to a high yellow or a green tonight for your homework and just process the PowerPoint and the video. Wednesday and Thursday we'll be doing frogs. Friday, yay, we have a raid rally. But Friday we will be starting to talk about how the systems work together. Then we get to move to February. So that leads us to, and this will be still systems working together. This will probably be review-ish. So right now I'm planning on the test either being the 7th or the 8th, which means vocab will be due the 6th. I will obviously keep you updated and let you know as soon as I do. But please, right now, please take out, and I'll pause for a second to give time for you guys to do this, but please take out the version of notes that you would like to take. A reminder, you can do this one that was the download. You can do the notes with blanks that I gave to you way earlier in the unit. Or option 3 that we just started with our last one was taking your own notes and pulling what you feel is important and writing down what you feel. No matter what version you are doing, however, you are all required to interact with your notes. Options is red, yellow, green, memory tricks, highlighting things, crossing things out, whatever that means. During this, I will also pause so that our amazing guest teacher can give you guys a little bit of a break. But otherwise, and then we are going to end the hour with looking at a frog dissection. So it's pretty painless today. But I would like to prep you for tomorrow in the frog dissection. So we are starting our body system, which remember is the 4th level of organization. It's cell, tissue, organ system. And then all your organ systems make an organism. This organ or body system we're talking about today is digestive system. The overall function is to absorb nutrients. And that's the one people forget about, but it is to absorb nutrients. And then to also, oh, my dog is saying hi. Darwin, say hi, everybody. He's going to come watch me give notes here, apparently. So it is to absorb nutrients. Focus, Miss Kirchner. Okay, everybody. The function, the overall purpose of the digestive system is to absorb nutrients, which occurs in the small intestine, and to remove solid waste. So absorb nutrients, remove solid waste. It's just my fun stomach. You eat pizza. Anyway, happy Tuesday. So the first part that happens in your saliva is enzymes. Enzymes are chemicals that speed up a chemical reaction. Reminder, I told you about this last week, but if we didn't have enzymes in our mouth, it would take a couple hours to chew through food. Let me back up here. Many enzymes are required for digestion. If this looks familiar, hopefully we have our helper organs. Our gallbladder releases bile, which moves and separates fat. Your pancreas regulates insulin. And then what's not on here is our liver, which is our poison control center. So here's my fun digestive system picture. So we're going to label the different parts. A reminder on the test, you guys, is I will give various organs and you'll have to match them to the correct system. So on the test, I repeat, you're not going to have to know that this is the liver and it's located here, but you will need to know that liver is in the digestive system. So and we'll kind of walk through what happens from food to poop. Yep, I said poop. Happy Tuesday. So it starts in the mouth, and that's where enzymes are. It's called mechanical digestion. You are just breaking the food smaller and smaller. Then you have your esophagus. There are 2 tubes in your throat. You have your trachea, which is not on this because it's not the correct system, and your esophagus. So esophagus is the food tube. Your trachea is the air tube. So when you have, for example, you say something went down the wrong tube, you have food go down the air tube versus the food tube. So again, mouth into just a fun, I always say it's the throat slide, but it's the esophagus, and you see where this leads to our next one here, which is the stomach. This is still breaking down food smaller and smaller. This is where you will have acid that helps aid in digestion, breaking it smaller and smaller. Your stomach forms a new mucus layer about every 2 to 4 hours to help not break through your stomach, but a hole in the stomach is considered an ulcer. And if that acid goes up here, you have heartburn. Then if you follow it, you see where we're going next. Then we talk about our helper organs. Here's your liver. So the liver never actually touches the food if you see it's lying over the stomach, but this is your poison control center. So again, if I was a student, I would be writing little notes here, like tube, stomach, maybe you write acid, breaks down. Liver, you might want to write helper organ, poison control. Helper organ, poison control. If I'm going too fast, a little reminder for everyone that you can re-listen to this anytime you want and fast forward it and whatever at home. But it's really important to add your own notes and basically translate my language into your own language. So back to our helper organs, we have helper organ 1, poison control center. Helper organ 2, pancreas, is your insulin. It regulates insulin or sugar in your body. This is also on our lab from Friday, that download from Friday. And then you have your gallbladder, this little guy. And when we look at the frogs, it'll be behind the liver. But this guy here puts bile into the stomach, which moves and separates fat to keep the process nice and smooth. So back to our big long tubes, we had mouth, esophagus, stomach, and then after the stomach is the small intestine. Notice how passionate I got because this guy, and please make this stand out. Please, please, please make this stand out. So when I come back on Wednesday, I should see this standing out on what other version of notes you want. But here's where absorption occurs. I'm going to repeat that. Here is where absorption occurs. So here is the whole point of eating. Up until now, it's been breaking it down or doing with the helper organs, adding some special stuff. But here's the whole point. In your small intestine, it's called small because of width, but it is actually incredibly long. If you remember our meter activity, it's about 5.5 meter sticks. And it wiggles back and forth here. So this is where absorption takes place. And then a little connection piece. I can't do it, but connection is then when it absorbs, you have red blood cells, circulatory system, that delivers the nutrients to the cells that need it. So not only does your circulatory system deliver nutrients from this system, it also delivers oxygen, if you remember. After the small intestine, so now all the good has been absorbed. In your head, hopefully you can answer what's left, and that's all the bad. So this is where we get the large intestine. So after the small, you see here, whoop, you have your large intestine right here. And this is where it soaks up water and it dries things out and ships it out ready to go. So it packs it up and dries it out. Then we scroll down after the large intestine. Whoop, you have this guy. A lot of people have had their appendix removed. Your appendix is actually, according to science, no longer needed. It is a leftover organ from the past. Scientists believe it used to digest raw meat, but this is your appendix. It's pointless for you, but it's still at the end of our large intestine. So let's keep going. Then you have your rectum. It's kind of a muscular type tube that leads to this guy here, the one everyone loves to say, to the anus, which is the removal, the hole exiting the body. So I'll leave it on this screen in a quick little thing so you guys can adjust to the notes. This is the slide I would actually suggest that you guys add stuff. So you have your mouth, still breaking it up smaller and smaller. Esophagus is the tube that just leads to the stomach. Stomach, breaking up smaller and smaller. I'm going to skip the helper organs for now. I'll come back to them. After the stomach, you have the small intestine where absorption takes place. Your cells need nutrients. This is where the nutrients get absorbed to be delivered to your cells. Then after the small intestine, you have your large intestine. And that is where water gets absorbed and it packs it up to ship it out. We're going to skip the appendix. Then you have your rectum, muscular tube that pushes it towards the bottom, and your anus, the actual exiting to the body. Going back to your helper organs, you have your liver, poison control, pancreas, regulates insulin or sugars in your body, and your gallbladder, which releases bile, and bile moves and separates fat. So that is the function and what happens during the digestive system. Right now, my guest teacher, if the class is behaving well, and it depends on the flow of the day, feel free to pause me and take a 3-minute brain break, catch up. That means no games, but that doesn't mean you can stand, stretch, move around as long as your behavior is okay. And that is up to your teacher. So get a break and we'll be back in a little bit. Well, welcome back if you took a break. To continue, I do like to talk about different systems out there. Not everything looks, walks, and talks like a human. So to talk about different digestive systems in the world with different organisms, some organisms, and I wish I could show you guys this. I made the rabbit on my real PowerPoint actually poop, so I'm sorry. It's not as fun. But a complete digestive system is a big long tube with 2 openings, a mouth and an anus. So you guys have a complete digestive system. Point A to point B, and there's a bunch of change that happens within. This is where I showed the rabbit eating. I'll show you guys Wednesday, I promise. I'm too proud of it to not show you. But again, you have start to end. That's a complete digestive system. It's a tube within a tube. There's ours again. Let you look at that. Then an incomplete has a pouch-like cavity for digestion with only 1 opening. I want you to think about that. There's only 1 opening. Could you imagine? So here is an example of a polyp. Pouch-like cavity, only 1 opening. So the food goes in, gets converted, and the poop, if you will, leaves. In the same opening. I repeat, food and waste come in and out of the same opening. So it's a little faster. Obviously, disadvantage would be bad breath. I'm being funny. But that is the overall PowerPoint for today, you guys. Now, again, I did my part. Hopefully, you did your part of listening and interacting with your notes. Now, your homework for tonight, as always, it depends on the student, is to get to a high yellow or green, whatever that means. Red, yellow, green, cross things out, repeat it. I am here in the morning if there's something you don't understand. So please take time to interact with your notes. Work on your vocabulary visual. I can help you and give you a hint for this one. Digestive system. The overall purpose is to absorb the good and remove the bad. So with your visual for this one, think about that. Like, what absorbs good? What could you think of? Some people have drawn a sponge in the past, taking away the bad. Some people have done sponge and garbage, but somehow absorbing the good stuff, nutrients specifically, and removing the waste. That's what you would want to do for your vocabulary visual. But you're going to take time to interact with your notes, and then you're going to take the rest of the class, if you go on to Schoology, and watch the frog dissection so you can be prepared for our frog dissection tomorrow. I do expect that you guys look at that so you have an idea and can get started tomorrow. Yeah, so that's about it. If you do happen to finish early, but in my opinion, you guys, there's no way. If you truly study and interact with your notes and watch the frog dissection, you should not have extra time in this class. But if you happen to really sell me on how you have extra time, but if you do happen to have extra time, this is the chance to work on your vocab visuals and put it all together. This is our last system. So now you have skeletal, muscular, respiratory, circulatory, digestive. I'm out of fingers and out of hands, but you have excretory as well. These are all systems we've learned about. You're expected to know all the functions. We've talked about homeostasis. We have talked about body organization, cell, tissue, organ system, and things like that. So you can look at past learning targets if you actually wrote them down. So good job if you did. I just put this all together. Please be good. I'm not going to get any names because you guys are awesome. And especially if I have any issues, frog dissection might be off the table. So it's something we can talk about, but it's one of my favorite things. Frog dissection is really fun. So I hope you guys have a great day today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.